there's one thing I've learned, one truth that keeps revealing itself over and over again, it's this: attachment without self-respect is a trap. A painful, exhausting, and lonely trap. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a time where we glorify the idea of holding on. We glorify suffering for love. But I'm here to tell you today, and I need you to hear me clearly, don't ever stay where your self-respect is dying. You see, some women, and this goes both ways, but today we're speaking to the men, some women will say things that seem subtle at first. They'll make little comments, throw in a jab here and there, challenge your identity, your dreams, your masculinity, and you won't even realize it's happening. But it is. It starts with a joke at your expense, a dismissive laugh when you talk about your goals, a passive-aggressive comment when you speak with confidence. You might say something like, "You really think you can do that?" Or, "A man like you should be lucky to even have me." And I say this not from a place of judgment, but from a place of truth. If a woman tells you something that crushes your spirit or makes you feel small, leave. Not later, not after the next apology, not after she promises to change. Immediately. Why? Because your spirit knows when it's being disrespected. Your gut knows when love has turned into control. And your heart, even though it wants to hold on, it's begging you to walk away. And I get it. She might be beautiful. You might have history. You might feel like she's the only one who gets you. But ask yourself this: if someone truly gets you, truly loves you, why would they use their words to break you instead of build you? Some of us confuse attention with affection. We think just because she's still there, it means she cares. But some people stay not because they love you, but because they love the power they have over you. And when a woman tells you things that make you question your worth, that's not love. That's not partnership. That's manipulation. Gentlemen, I need you to love yourself enough to choose peace over drama, to choose clarity over confusion. When a woman tells you with her words, or worse, with her tone, that you are less than, you listen. You take that as the truth she's showing you, and you move, not out of hate, not with anger. You move with grace, you move with purpose. And you move because you finally realize you're not staying where you're tolerated. You're going where you're celebrated. You were not created to constantly defend your worth in a relationship. You were not created to shrink so someone else can feel big. You were made to stand tall, to be a protector, a visionary, a leader. But you can't lead in love if you're being led by fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over. Let me tell you something, and I want this to stay with you long after you leave this room. It's better to be alone with your peace than to be together and slowly lose yourself. If her words cut you deeper than they lift you, brother, it's time to go. This is JASSICA, OPARE Sophora, and I'm telling you, if a woman tells you with her mouth that you don't matter, that your dreams don't matter, that your worth is conditional, you don't argue, you don't plead, you don't wait, you leave. There's something I wish more men understood, not just intellectually, but deep in their bones. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. And in relationships, boundaries are everything. I'm JASSICA, OPARE Sophora, and I'm here to tell you that if a woman says something that clearly crosses your personal lines, don't negotiate it, don't excuse it, act on it. I've seen too many men silence their instincts, brush things under the rug, or convince themselves that it's not that deep, all because they don't want to come off as insecure or dramatic. But let me ask you something. If she makes a comment that disrespects your values, laughs at your pain, or mocks your standards, and you say nothing, what message are you sending? You're telling her and yourself that disrespect is acceptable, that her words don't have consequences, that your lines don't matter. And before you know it, those small violations become normalized. She starts pushing further. She tests how far she can go. Not because she's evil, but because that's human nature. We test the limits that aren't clearly marked. You know what boundaries really are? They're not walls. They're not ultimatums. They are clarity. They are the clear and confident expression of what you will and will not allow in your life. And when a woman crosses a boundary with her words, with her tone, or with her actions, and you just take it, you're showing her that your peace is negotiable. Some women, when you finally speak up, will tell you, "You're being too sensitive," or "I was just joking." But listen, If a joke makes you feel small, it's not a joke. If a harmless comment wounds your spirit, it's not harmless. And when you try to explain and she flips it on you, tells you you're always overreacting, that's not love. That's deflection. That's her avoiding accountability while making you question your own emotional truth. The right woman, one who respects herself and you, will honor your boundaries. She may not always understand them at first, but she'll try, she'll ask, she'll adjust. But the moment you hear something that clearly disrespects who you are or what you stand for, and you feel that tightening in your chest, that moment of, wait, did she really just say that? That's your cue. Don't argue, don't try to prove your worth, don't start giving a lecture about how you deserve better. Show it. Walk away if you must, because a man who knows his worth doesn't beg for respect, he embodies it. Sometimes you'll lose people when you start enforcing your boundaries, and that's okay, because the people who get angry when you draw lines were usually the ones benefiting from you having none. And if she leaves because you spoke your truth, good. You've just made space for someone who will speak to you with kindness, with honor, with consideration. So don't be afraid to walk away when your boundaries are crossed. Don't second guess your standards just to keep someone who's already showing you who they truly are. A woman who repeatedly crosses the line doesn't need more chances, she needs distance. Trust me on this, your peace, your purpose, your power, they all depend on the lines you draw and defend. So when her words violate your core, don't explain, don't beg, just go. Because the only thing worse than being disrespected is staying after it happens. There's a kind of pain that doesn't leave bruises. It doesn't shout, it doesn't slam doors or throw punches, but it cuts deeper than anything physical ever could. It's the kind of pain that comes from emotional manipulation, subtle, quiet, almost invisible to the untrained eye. I'm Jessica OPARE, and I want you to listen closely, because if a woman tells you certain things in a certain way, and you keep feeling confused, guilty, or ashamed without understanding why, it's probably manipulation. It usually doesn't start off as obvious. In fact, it can feel like love at first. She says she cares. She says she wants the best for you. But then she follows it with words that chip away at your identity. Maybe it sounds like, "You're too emotional every time you express how you feel," or "No one else would deal with you when you challenge something she's said or done," or even worse, "If you really loved me, you'd do this for me." And you start questioning yourself. You begin walking on eggshells. You overthink every sentence before you say it. You're not sure if you're being too sensitive or if something's actually wrong. That's the trap of manipulation. It makes you doubt your own reality. A woman who manipulates doesn't always need to yell or insult you. Sometimes she just needs to plant seeds, seeds of guilt, insecurity, or fear. She uses your empathy against you. She makes her pain your responsibility. And before long, you're doing things not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of upsetting her, fear of being abandoned, fear of not being enough. Let me tell you something, you are enough. But emotional manipulation doesn't want you to believe that. It wants you to stay small, unsure, and dependent. It thrives when you feel like she's the only one who understands you, even though she's also the one who's slowly breaking you. This is how good men lose themselves. Not all at once, but in pieces. You give up your voice to keep the peace. You silence your instincts to avoid another argument. You become a version of yourself that she finds convenient, not because she loves you, but because she loves the control. So when you hear certain things that make you feel like you always have to explain yourself, like you're never doing enough, like you owe her your silence for the sake of the relationship, I need you to pause. And I need you to ask yourself, is this love? Or is this control dressed up as love? The hardest thing to do is walk away when you're emotionally tied to someone. But manipulation is not a mistake, it's a pattern. And if she's using her words to trap you, confuse you, or make you feel like you're constantly failing, that's not someone you grow with, that's someone you outgrow. So if she's constantly shifting blame onto you, using guilt as a leash, or speaking to you in ways that leave you doubting your own value, don't wait for it to get better. Don't wait for the apology she only gives after breaking you down. You owe it to yourself to recognize emotional manipulation for what it is, and you owe it to your future to leave it behind. Choose clarity, choose freedom, and above all, choose you. One thing I've always stood by, and I'll continue saying it until it sinks in. You never, ever settle for disrespect, no matter how beautiful, smart, or successful she is. I'm Jessica OPARE Saforo, and if you hear nothing else today, hear this. Love without respect isn't love at all. It's control, it's ego, it's power dressed up in affection. And if you let it slide once, it won't stop there. Let's be honest. Some of you are staying in relationships where you are constantly being belittled, undermined, or made to feel like you're never doing enough. You're chasing approval in a place where you should be finding peace. And the truth is, the moment she starts saying things like, "What do you even bring to the table?" or "You'll never be successful without me," or "You're lucky I'm even with you," that's the moment you need to realize something very real. This is not love. This is ego. This is superiority masked as connection. Because real love does not belittle. Real love does not compete with you. Real love doesn't mock your vision or make you feel like your dreams are silly. A woman who truly values you will speak life into you, not drain it out of you with every condescending remark. I need you to understand how subtle it can be. Disrespect isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a smirk when you're trying to be serious. It's her dismissing your ideas or interrupting you when you're trying to speak. It's making you feel like your opinions don't matter because she always knows better. And the more you tolerate it, the more it becomes the standard. There's this idea that men should be tough enough to handle it, that somehow if you speak up, you're weak or insecure. But the strongest thing you can ever do as a man is to say, I will not allow myself to be disrespected in the name of love. That takes strength, that takes identity, that takes courage. You were not created to shrink for someone else's comfort. You weren't put here to play small so someone else can feel big. If she has to make you feel inferior to feel powerful, that's not a partner, that's a bully. And no matter how long you've been with her, no matter how deep your feelings are, if she consistently disrespects you with her words, it's time to walk away. Because the longer you stay in a space where you are not valued, the more you start questioning your own value. You stop dreaming, you stop growing, you settle. And let me be clear, settling is just a slower form of dying inside. You are worthy of a woman who lifts you, challenges you in love, and respects the man you are, even when you're still becoming him. So if her words tear you down more than they build you up, don't wait for her to suddenly change. Don't stay hoping she'll finally see your worth. If she can't see it now, she won't see it later. Your future is too important to waste on someone who doesn't respect your present. Walk away, not because you hate her, but because you finally love yourself. There comes a moment in every man's life where he has to choose between staying in something that's slowly killing him or walking away to protect what little of himself he has left. And I know it's hard. I know how heavy that choice feels, but I'm Jessica OPARE Saforo, and I'm here to remind you, leaving isn't weakness, it's not failure, it's not giving up, it's growth, it's clarity, it's the moment you finally stop betraying yourself for the sake of someone else's comfort. Too many of you are staying in relationships out of fear, fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of looking like the bad guy. And so even when she disrespects you, even when her words pierce your heart and shake your confidence, you stay. You tell yourself, maybe it's just a phase. Maybe she's just stressed. Maybe if I love her harder, she'll change. But deep down, you know the truth. She's not changing. In fact, the longer you stay, the more she starts to believe that what she's doing is okay, that you'll tolerate anything just to keep the peace. And brother, peace that costs you your self-worth isn't peace at all. It's quiet suffering. I want you to think about something. Think about the version of you before this relationship. Think about how you used to dream, how you used to laugh without fear of being mocked, how you used to stand tall, speak freely, move with purpose. Where did that man go? What happened to him? You don't have to lose yourself to love someone else. And if being with her requires you to silence your pain, ignore your intuition, and accept a version of love that leaves you feeling small, that's not love worth keeping. Walking away doesn't mean you hate her. It doesn't mean you wish her harm. It simply means you've come to a place of truth, a place where you finally see things for what they are, not what you hoped they would be. And when you reach that level of clarity, you stop asking for apologies that never come. You stop waiting for her to understand your heart. You stop begging for respect that should have been freely given from day one. You walk away not with bitterness, but with dignity, not with resentment, but with wisdom, because now you understand that protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. Yes, it's going to hurt. Let's not lie about that. Letting go of someone you once loved, someone you may still love, is painful, but staying in a place that chips away at your soul day after day, that's the kind of pain that doesn't heal. And let me say this, you will heal. You will rise again, you will rebuild, because when you walk away from what's breaking you, you make room for what will bless you. You make space for the kind of love that doesn't just feel good, but respects you, uplifts you, honors you. So if her words have become weapons, if her presence brings more confusion than clarity, if you feel like you're losing yourself more than you're loving her, it's time to go. Walk away with your head held high, because you're not leaving her, you're returning to you. There's something I need you to understand deeply, completely, and without hesitation. Your time, energy, and love are not things to be handed out to just anyone who wants them. I'm Jessica OPARE Saforo, and I want to speak directly to the men who are pouring everything they have into women who only show up when it's convenient. If she's inconsistent, if she only loves you when it benefits her, if her words only sound sweet when she needs something, that is not love, that is use. Let's call it what it is. Some women are not looking for a partner, they're looking for a lifeline, someone to fix their problems, to carry their emotional baggage, to be available on their terms and silent when they don't feel like dealing with you. One moment she's all over you, texts, compliments, promises. The next moment she's cold, distant, disinterested. And you're left wondering what you did wrong, chasing that same affection you tasted for 5 seconds, thinking if you just do a little more, love a little harder, give a little extra, she'll come back around. But you need to hear this. Real love is consistent. It doesn't play games. It doesn't disappear and reappear depending on mood, attention, or convenience. And if a woman only treats you right when she wants something from you, whether that's money, time, comfort, or validation, then she's not loving you. She's using you. And I know that might be hard to admit, especially when you've invested so much. But love without consistency is manipulation with lipstick, and it's often disguised in just enough affection to keep you hooked. She knows exactly when to show up with a sweet smile or a soft voice to keep you close, and because you're a good man, because you care deeply, you give her another chance, and another, until you're so used to being fed in crumbs that you forget you deserve a full meal. You were not created to be someone's emotional crutch. You were not put here to be loved part-time. If she can't be consistent with her words, her actions, and her presence, she's not confused, she's calculated. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but if she wanted to love you well, she would. It's really that simple. Love should not leave you anxious. It should not leave you guessing. It should not make you feel like you have to compete with her distractions just to get a moment of clarity or kindness. If her behavior is leaving you more confused than confident, then the truth is already speaking. You're just afraid to listen. And this is where you reclaim your power. This is where you stop romanticizing potential and start honoring your reality. You don't need to wait for her to change. You need to decide that inconsistency is no longer welcome in your life. You deserve the kind of love that doesn't leave you wondering where you stand. You deserve stability. You deserve intention. So if she only shows up when she wants something and disappears when you need her most, let her go. Don't chase, don't convince, don't wait. Because someone who truly loves you, respects you, and values you shows up consistently, not conditionally.